Chapter 29. The next few weeks proved painful, both literally and figuratively. Sam missed an entire week of school because she had to stay off her leg, and her mother wasn't taking any chances this time around. The Flynn grandparents had been summoned from Phoenix to please come and help take care of family business. Lisa and John didn't need to miss school to babysit Sam, since there were willing relatives to assist. The grandparents had resided in Phoenix since Christmas anyway, so it was time for them to come home. Sam preferred Pops to Gigi. Pop still wanted to tell her stories and watch TV, and she let him. Gigi wanted to make Sam bathe and fix her hair and all manner of girly things, but Sam let her too. Sam realized she had really spent most of her childhood with Nana Tate and not so much with Pops and Gigi. Sam just kept thinking about some passage Rock read about not knowing how much time we have, and Christ will return as quickly as a woman hit with labor pains. Sam definitely didn't want to think about labor pains or how one day Nana Tate was there, and then, well, so she decided the message du jour simply, don't take today for granted. Pops and Gigi weren't getting any younger, and Sam needed them, and that was okay. When Sam returned to Mansfield High School, no one really seemed to notice. Apparently, some new scandal took her place, so she just got back into her normal routine, with the exception of a mound of makeup work. And Natalie was back. "What are we doing for your birthday?" Natalie asked one day after a few weeks. Sam questioned. She almost forgot her birthday. It was only in a few days. April 20th. Not the greatest day for a birthday. Sharing the day with one of the most notorious mass murderers of all times, plus National Pot Smoking Day, really put a damper on her celebratory thoughts. As if reading her mind, Steve said, "Maybe we should just go get high. Apparently Sam's funny when she's high. Not like her usual self." Sam playfully hit Steve in the arm as the bell signaled for them to break up her one moment of pleasure in the morning before heading to Bat Baker's class. She still limped a little to her seat, and a momentary deja vu and plenty of time before the tardy bell. No mistakes anymore. As the bell sounded, Dustin Drake slid in the door and in his seat, just as the ringing stopped. Mrs. Baker glared at him, but did not say anything and proceeded with the daily drudgery. Dustin had missed a ton of school lately. Sam could count on one hand the number of times she had seen him since she had left the hospital. She never had the chance to talk to him because he came and went like a shadow, that she never really possessed any certainty she had seen him at all. She's found herself wondering if it really would have mattered if he had been expelled. Sam wasn't listening to anything Mrs. Baker said. She knew she'd pay for it later, but she couldn't take her eyes off of Dustin. He looked different, thinner if that were possible, and his skin had a sickly yellow color to it, as if he hadn't seen the sun in years. Sam worried about him, and that made her quit looking and stare intently at the textbook on her desk. Sam hadn't seen or heard anything weird in weeks. No visions, no demons, no light bubbles. Life regained relative monotony, whatever that was. Ellen appeared in some of her dreams, or so Sam thought. She really hadn't remembered any of her dreams, which was actually peaceful. She just possessed an awareness that Ellen hovered there, a kind of invisible force field around her, keeping her safe. But for some reason, Sam feared looking at Dustin. She didn't know what kind of image would materialize around him, just like lust had around Reagan Sandifer. Mrs. Baker droned on, and Sam tried to focus on geometry, but she kept glancing over at Dustin, only a seat away. Only tiny Teresa Clement separated them. Dustin hadn't shaved in a few days, and about 6 long, scraggly hairs twisted from his chin. He looked terrible, like he didn't have a friend in the world. Sam didn't know why she did it. She had to do it hastily before she had time to realize what a dangerous and foolish endeavor she undertook. She scribbled on a piece of paper, "You've missed a ton of school. Are you okay? I've missed you." She handed the note to Teresa. Teresa looked like a scalded cat threatening to bolt out of the room. Sam mouthed "Dustin" to her, and she threw the note on his desk like it contained anthrax. Dustin looked at the piece of paper as if it were a foreign object, and he had no idea what to do with it or what its function or purpose. After what seemed like an eternity of staring, he slowly unfolded it. When he looked in Sam's direction, she gave him the warmest, sincerest, "I really do mean it, and I'm not full of poo" smile she could possibly muster. Sam couldn't decipher the look on Dustin's face. Somewhere between sadness, longing, and despair. He simply crumpled the note and dropped it on the floor. His eyes returned to a faraway place where they now lived, and Mrs. Baker droned on and on. When the bell rang, Dustin shot out of the room like a cannonball, and Sam determined to chase him down. "Are you okay?" Sam found herself yelling to his back as he retreated down the hallway. Dustin turned suddenly, and Sam smacked into him full force. "Oh, sorry," she awkwardly mumbled. "Don't come to school on your birthday," Dustin's voice barely whispered. "What?" Sam was confused. "Please," Dustin's voice whispered a little stronger and more urgent. "Don't come to school on your birthday." And he turned and sped away from her down the hall. Sam's first reaction stupidly wondered, how does he know when my birthday is? As she feebly started chasing him again to ask, she yelled for him to wait. When she rounded the corner, she walked directly into the goth group. It seemed like they came out of nowhere. A plague of locusts swarmed all in black, moving through the hallway like a single dark disease. Dustin Drake swallowed up by the swarm. "Dustin!" Sam yelled. She had to talk to him. This was important. When Sam yelled Dustin's name, the group turned in tandem and stared at her. Nathan Zorn, leader of his own little displaced army, stepped forward and glared at her in such a way he made Sam take a step back. Nathan laughed a horrible, deep, rattling laugh like some character out of a voodoo movie. He simply turned and led his troops on to their next conquest. Sam mustered what little courage she had left and yelled, "Dustin, I need to talk to you." At this, Nathan turned again, but this time Sam stepped toward him. Nathan Zorn was not going to scare her. After all, he was just a boy, and this was her father's school. "What makes you think Dustin wants to talk to you?" growled from Nathan's throat like a lion's roar. "Dustin's my friend, that's what," Sam replied. There it was again, that laugh, that maniacal voodoo laugh. And Nathan Zorn turned his back on her and walked away. Oh, not this time. Sam grabbed his arm, not sure why she did this. She simply wanted to make him stop, make him let Dustin go. Sam touched Nathan's bare flesh between his hand and the sleeve of his dark black hoodie. But now she couldn't let go. Intense pain shot up her arm and made her scream. Her only thought was if she were being tased, electrocuted, and she couldn't let go of the source. Was she going to die right here in the halls of Mansfield High School? Nathan violently wrenched his arm out of Sam's grasp, like he felt the shock too. The pain stopped, but the effect lingered. Sam panted, out of breath. Everything in her hurt. Even her hair hurt and felt like it stood on its ends as if she touched one of those electricity balls. For a moment, she and Nathan Zorn stood eye to eye, staring, both surprised by the intensity of their encounter. Sam could see her reflection in his coal black eyes, two endless shimmering pools of darkness. Then he smiled, mouth unnaturally red, like a pomegranate, his teeth two perfect rows of icy white, like a juicy red apple with the whitest, sweetest flesh. A bubble of light filled the hall. Light surrounded Sam as her head spun and reeled and kept her on her feet even though she knew she was about to fall down. People moved past her, but she couldn't see them. The light was too bright, but she could feel them, feel the warmth of them as they passed, a rainbow of color, pulsing. Wrath rules him. You are in danger. And the laughing, the maniacal voodoo laughing echoed through the halls of Mansfield High School, bursting Sam's bubble of light. Her friends lay littered about her like discarded dolls, mangled heads, limbs, staring lifeless.